Hi everyone, good morning. Welcome to this last lesson of the course Tuesdays with Morrie. I'm Abhishek TR and I'll be your presenter today. Here's a little information about me. To follow my latest courses, do follow me on Unacademy. Well, that brings us to the last two Tuesdays, the 13th and the 14th Tuesday. This is the point where Mitch had to bid goodbye to Morrie. But on the 13th Tuesday, they have a little brief conversation on how beautiful a day can be. Morrie starts talking about death, on how death is a natural process and it's more like life. It's part and package of the deal that we have made with God. Anyway, Morrie had been having really bad nights lately, and there were times when there were violent hacking spells that woke him up, and making him breathe normally was a huge task. Even with the oxygen machine, it wasn't working out. Morrie was sharing his deep-fetched thoughts with Mitch and how terrible he had been feeling the other night. Though Mitch had tears in his ears, he couldn't actually give out what he was feeling. He hugged Morrie and then he said, "Take care." When Morrie had been talking about death, this is what he said. The sensation of accepting what was happening, being at peace. I was thinking about a dream I had last week where I was crossing a bridge into something unknown, being ready to move on, whatever it is. It's so natural to die. Most of us think that we're going to live on forever, and that we think that death is a huge thing. The fact that we make death such a big hullabaloo over it is all because we don't see ourselves as a part of nature. We think because we're human, we're something above nature. All this philosophy, Morrie was drawing from a little hibiscus plant. Interesting, right? We're not. Everything that gets born dies one day. Without letting Mitch talk further, Morrie kept on talking about how memories were valuable to him and how he had touched many lives during his period on earth. You live on in the hearts of everyone you have touched and nurtured while you were here. Beautiful lines. And then he says, "Let's talk about a little story." Morrie takes a break before the story, and Mitch kept wondering, how would Morrie spend if he had been given one healthy day? I mean, if you're someone who's really sick on your deathbed, and if you get one perfect day with 24 hours, how would you do it? You would probably travel around the world if you had the chance. You would meet the people you always wanted to meet, eat the food you wanted to eat. But then, what did Morrie wanted to do? Let's see. I'd get up in the morning, do my exercises, have a lovely breakfast of sweet rolls and tea, go for a swim, then have my friends come over for nice lunch. I'd have them come one or two at a time so we could talk about their families, their issues, talk about how much we mean to each other. Then I'd like to go for a walk in a garden with some trees, watch their colors, watch the birds, take in the nature that I haven't seen in so long now. In the evening, we'd all go together to a restaurant with some great pasta, maybe some duck. I love duck. And then we would dance the rest of the night. I'd dance with all the wonderful dance partners out there until I was exhausted, and then I'd come home and have a deep, wonderful sleep. Interesting. It moved Mitch a lot. Not everyone has the same perspective in life, but this was something really beautiful, and that is when Mitch realized that this was the whole point of being alive. Coming back to the little story that Morrie wanted to share with Mitch, let's call the story the Little Wave Story. Once upon a time, there was a little wave blobbing alone in the ocean, having a grand old time. He's enjoying the wind and the fresh air until he notices the other waves in front of him, crashing against the shore. "My God, this is terrible," the wave says. "Look what's going to happen to me." Then along comes another wave. It sees the first wave looking grim and it says, "Why do you look so sad?" The first wave says, "You don't understand. We're all going to crash. All of us waves are going to be nothing. Isn't it terrible?" And here's a deep philosophical line that the second wave utters. "No, you don't understand. You're not a wave. You're part of the ocean." And with that, Morrie slowly closes his eyes again, whispers, "Part of the ocean," and then Mitch leaves for the night. And that brings us to the last. Yep, that's it. The last Tuesday. When Mitch came in to visit one last time, there was a huge silence in their house. No, Morrie wasn't dead, but he wasn't able to talk anymore. Morrie's mouth was wide open, and his skin was pale and tight against his cheekbones. When his eyes rolled toward him, he tried to speak, but he heard only a soft grunt. Mitch wanted to talk to Morrie really badly, but Morrie wasn't in a situation to talk. But then, after seeing Mitch, he had to say one word. You're a good soul, Mitch. I love you. And then Mitch said, I love you too, dear coach. Though Mitch had a feeling that tomorrow would be a better day, he always knew that this is how they would say goodbye to one another. With that, he leaves Morrie for the day and wishes that he'll become better the other day. But then things didn't happen well, and then came the end. Morrie died on a Saturday morning. There were people all around, and the funeral was held in a damp, windy morning. The grass was wet, and the sky was the color of milk. They all stood by the hole in the earth, close enough to hear the pond water lapping against the edge and to see ducks shaking off their feathers. Well, this is how Morrie wanted to die, and this is where he wanted to spend the rest of his lifetime. Now he was just a memory. He was a memory that everyone cherished. Mitch could hear Morrie speaking to him again and again. You talk, I listen. And Mitch made a decision that every time he would want to speak to Mitch, he would come there, sit near the tombstone on a Tuesday, and then share his life with him. I guess that's about it. And Mitch ends the story by one beautiful paragraph. The last class of my professor's life took place once in a week, in his home, by a window in his study, where he could watch a small hibiscus plant shed its pink flowers. The class met on Tuesdays. No books were required. The subject was the meaning of life. It was taught from experience, and the teaching goes on and on. Though I couldn't bring out the whole emotion of the book in this presentation, I really wish that if you happen to find some time, do pick up this beautiful book and make sure that you change your perspective in life. Oh, I have to give you one more assignment for today. Anyway, just rate, review, and recommend, and I'll see you around with a new course. So, sayonara, bye bye, signing off. This is Abhishek TR. See ya.